Now then, how we doing? So for tonight, we're going to be doing some crispy beef and sweet and sour pork balls. So get his chopping board, gloves on for protection, and slap his meat down. Now, that's my samurai sword, and we're going to cut it up into some little thin slices. And then we're going to strip it. We're not going to be beating his meat today, because we've done enough of that, and it's a bit battered and bruised. But cut it into strips, make a little pile, and ta-da. So put that aside, get his chopping board back, pop his bowl on, and then slap his meat down. Then we're going to put a little bit of bicarbonate of soda in. This is called velveting. Tenderises your meat a bit. So put a bit more in. Get it all musheroony. And then we're going to stick it to one side for 30 minutes. Then we're going to get a fresh bowl and a nice mega pint of Pimm's, because I'm poshing that. Put that to one side, job's a good one. Slap your meat in, this is pork. Cut up some spring onions, I did put on some fresh gloves, but scrape that in. Then we're going to put in a bit of salt, pepper, and some MSG. Also salt on crack. Some endos, some chai 5 spice, a little bit of soy sauce, some garlic powder, and then we'll get that mushed together. Make sure it's all mixed in good, and then we're gonna play with the balls. So right, I'm gonna make some balls out of this, some nice meat balls. I've got about 8 out of this mix, and I'm gonna turn the pan on, swish in a bit of oil, and then we're gonna start browning these balls off. Look, I've even made a pretty pattern and made it symmetrical in the middle. There we go. So, if you don't mind watching my balls on screen for a bit, then just sit back and relax and wait for them to brown up a bit. Don't take too long to do, just keep your eye on them. You might get a little bit of burnt bits because it is an hot pan and spring onions tend to do burn if you get them a bit hot. So you can see they're done. And swish them out into a bowl. And that's red sauce. We're going to make a sweet and sour sauce, so you get red sauce, bit of salt, bit of pepper, bit of MSG, some endos, because we all love a bit of endos, and then a little bit of soy sauce, apple cider vinegar, bit of brown sugar, and then some pineapple juice from a tin of sliced pineapples. Now I'm going to slice them up, chuck them back into the mix, get a swizz around. Then we're going to put in a bit of honey for a bit more sweetness, because brown sugar isn't enough and I do like cavities. And a bit of lemon juice for tartness to go along with vinegar. Then a bit of a cornstarch slurry, that's just to thicken up your sauce a bit and let water evaporate down a bit. And then you'll end up with a nice thick glossy sauce. Have a bit of taste of that. Delish. Slap my balls back in, give them a little shakeroonie, pop lid back on, job's a good one. Plate that up, bit of sesame seed, bit of chive garnish, get that straight down you. So, because I'm a greedy bugger and I wanted some more, I'm doing crispy beef. So that's your beef after it's velveted and covered in cornstarch. Put some oil in a pan. Then realise you didn't have enough, so you had to put more in. There we go. Now you don't want to overcrowd your pan. Like yesterday I made a mistake with that with stroganoff, so a little bit of a go, browning them off till they're nice and crispy, and they will keep on cooking once you get them out of the pan. Remember to put it on kitchen roll so it gets rid of all oil, and you can see a fancy peeled of pepper then. That's a red one, green one, choppity chop, then a shallot. I cut it on a diagonal because I felt fancy, and then a bit of chilli. A bit more oil in a pan. Then we're going to cook off and sweat down them veggies. Put that to one side because I forgot to cut spring onions because I'm a numpty. So get my knife, quickly chop them up. Then we're going to scrape them back into the pan and bring his pan back forward. Get a little swizz, try and be posh and flick it, and a bit more salt to get water out of the veg. I'm going to pop the lid back on and let it sweat down. Here we go, bit of garlic because I forgot to put it in, and a bit of 5 spice. Swizz it round a bit more. I'm just about done. I do like my veg a bit crunchy, so stick it in some sauce that we had left over because I couldn't be arsed making another sauce and that were nice enough. So we chuck that in, put us crispy beef back into the pan. Realise you made too much. Now we get it plated up. Looking good, nice and glossy. A bit of garnish on top with some sesame seeds. And there we go. Crispy beef, sweet and sour sauce. Gonna scran it, I'll sit it.